Welcome back to Retrotainment Recast. And no, it's not a ghost. The king is back. The king has returned, and he's going to judge and preside over this evening's episode. Of course, we have our usual champion, Greg the Hammer Valentine. Now,
Breathe in, man.
G-Man, how are things?
I'm all good, baby. All good. Not looking forward to this week, though.
How many wins are you on now?
This is 8, I think.
Is that a record?
No.
It's definitely the record, yeah.
No. The last round I had was the record. I had 9 wins in that one.
So
the 3 triple threats that I forced.
Yeah.
Well, maybe,
okay,
yeah.
And so
close enough. If not, it is. But
and of course, the pretender, or as he says, future champion.
Pretender.
Ted, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, yeah. I just like to clarify, they're not wins. Greg doesn't have a lot of wins, right? He's brushed aside a few people, but that champion's advantage has
got him through a few, yeah.
It's been a thorn in my side the last 2 times I've faced him, and I'll be really pissed off if he beats me a 3rd time in a row on it.
To be fair, I fully expect to lose this week. I thought I was going to lose last week.
You got lucky last week now.
The double dip on me having the person before him. I done a king on it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You got lucky now because as everyone knows, Greg had a pick and Tom had a pick, and it just happened that they had the same person for different people,
roles.
And the one Greg used came up first, so he won the points. So Tom basically automatically lost the next one, which is unfair, and it might be something we need to look into in the future. But it swung the tie completely in Greg's favor, and the only
I was losing at the time.
Oh, no, right?
And the only chance Tom had to get back was a really solid pick, to be fair, and then Greg matched him. So Tom
Excuse me, Tom matched me.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Tom might have had it first. I don't know. I can't confirm.
Well, I made the pick first.
You did, but it was the only chance Tom had, and it was unfortunate. It was his first time challenging, so he gave a good showing for himself. To be fair,
play to Tom.
I was down in that match twice.
Well,
yeah. I'll be honest. I'm not confident with this one either. This one was a tough one now that Tom.
You call it a draw?
No,
not champion's advantage again. No way.
I've had too many draws with you.
It's true. We've definitely drawn on a host of occasions over the year and a half or 2 years that we've done this.
No, well, in this reign alone, I've faced you twice. I've faced you twice. This is my 3rd time facing you, and I've drawn twice.
Is this not the 4th time we faced? You started the reign off.
So yeah, well, you won it off me at the first one. And then since you've been champion, you haven't beaten me. You've just champion's advantage to me twice.
It was Ric Flair that said, if you want to beat a man, you got to beat the man.
Well,
it's just a time limit draw. Time limit draws all the time.
Let's see if Ted can beat the man today. We have got a very, very cool film for you that we're going to recast. And don't forget, I have Tom's list, and I also have Sherlock's list. We're talking about Ghostbusters, the classic Ghostbusters one today. So
awesome.
It's going to be a cool episode. I have a list, of course, as well. But
it's a record. 5 lists. 6
lists? I think it would be
5 lists.
5 lists.
5, yeah.
It's the first time.
Without further ado, let us get our lists into the chat group, and we do this so there's no cheating or whatever that case is. So the lads will send it in now. And I'll see. We'll let you know when
just
they're
in
in
case
there.
of any draws.
Yeah.
Mine's in there.
Mine's just got in there as well.
Have them both in there. And away we go then. Shall we start?
Let's go.
As well, yeah.
Okay, so we picked 7 as it is, but let's go with Janine, the secretary.
Has to be, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. This was the one of contention between all of us. The group on which one we should do. It was either going to be Janine, or it was going to be Mr. Dickless himself, Walter Peck, which is a great name considering they call him Dickless as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was talking to Ted earlier, and I told him what pick I had for Peck. I was saying I had Patrick Bateman. Patrick Bateman. Yeah.
Oh, I know the guy you're talking about. Bateman. It is
Yeah.
Bateman. Yeah.
It's not Patrick Bateman, no.
No.
No, I was gonna say it definitely wasn't Patrick Bateman.
Yeah.
I told Greg who I had. I had Wyatt Russell.
Jason
Originally-
Bateman.
You had Jason
Jason
Bateman.
Bateman.
I had Wyatt Russell.
Wyatt
Originally it was
Russell.
Dave Franco, but I felt Wyatt Russell had the kind of grimier look for that kind of seedier look.
Who would you have gone for?
Out of those two?
Yeah.
Who did you have again, Greg?
Jason Bateman.
Yeah, Jason Bateman. I would have went with
Can
him.
we switch to Peck?
No, I would have had I had Wyatt Russell because I just feel he had that, I'm right when he was Captain America, you need to listen to me because I know what I'm talking about. But he did not know what he was talking about.
He really did not, did he?
Tom had Donald Gleason.
No.
I can see where.
Oh no! Wait, actually, sorry.
I can see where he's going with Gleason.
Yeah.
Don't know if Gleason would take that role. Super minor.
He also had Adam Scott as a backup.
That's closer, I'd say.
Yeah.
Adam Scott's just a little bit too old, I think. I like Adam Scott as a role there, but I think he's probably just a little bit too old.
All right, well, that would have been a tiebreaker if we needed it.
That was the rambling done.
Yeah. Right, who's first?
Champ goes first.
All right, G-Man, go for it. Who would you got as Janine?
So Janine, it's kind of a nobody character. It could be anybody. I went with someone who's not adverse to taking a bit part role in anything from TV to movies. I went with Mary Elizabeth Ellis here. She's the waitress from Only Sunny.
Oh
yeah. I know her,
yeah.
I don't. There's not much to argue because there's a nobody in this.
Yeah, this is a tough role because it's like the only thing you can really say about this role is that she's fairly kind of like in your face. Yeah, this is Ghostbusters. Like that's about it. Like there's not kind
of like the waitress is.
Yeah, like I'm not saying against that, but like that's just the only thing. She's kind of just self-absorbed and doesn't
abrasive.
She doesn't really give a shit about her job like at all. So there's not much arguments. I had so originally I had Jenny Slate down here, but I don't know if she's well known enough in this group. Jenny Slate, she's a comedian, so she was.
Oh, I know who she is. Yeah,
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She calls him Jakey Littlefingers or something, whatever it is.
I know who she is.
Parks and Recs and stuff, but I wasn't sure she was well known enough. Another name, which is one we haven't used before, that I had was Kate Michucci.
No, we have used her before.
Did we use her before? Yeah.
She got used in. She got used to replace. The fuck's the man's name from Princess Bride? The small guy who does the voice in Toy Story.
Wait, we didn't use her, did we?
Yeah, because Sherlock used her. Race bended her. Or gender bended her.
Oh, maybe. But I didn't use her anyway because again, that's
a good show.
I don't think she's got that. And
yeah, she's a bit timid.
She's too timid. If the secretary was a bit more timid, that's who I'd have gone for. But I went with somebody who has been an abrasive secretary before in Chelsea Peretti from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, I like that.
I think she'd fit in there quite well. She's not adverse to taking kind of smaller roles and stuff either. So
yeah, that's a good show. So I'll tell you what the boys had. Tom had Abigail Breslin.
Too big.
Okay.
Maybe if it was over the two Ghostbusters.
Yeah, maybe.
Sherlock had Stephanie Beatrix.
She's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine as well, isn't she? She's Rosa.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it?
No, that is, yeah. And
what was Sherlock thinking there?
Maybe this one's a bit big, but I put Aubrey Plaza down there.
That's not a bad show. Again, might be just a bit too big.
I think she's probably a bit too big there. Yeah. I'd say she's somewhere in between Janine and Dana. but I would say she's closer to the Dana role than she is to the Janine role at this point in her career.
Do you know who I was actually going to put in just for a little bit of star power, but not a big actress? I was going to put in Addison Rae, who was in Thanksgiving. She was the main girl from Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
She might be a little young.
Well, just to be a receptionist, it kind of be anything really.
Yeah, but you still like she's very flirty with Spengler.
Yeah.
Like,
Egon.
Yeah, so like.
Right, so I do like Ted's pick there. Chelsea Peretz taking that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a tough one because it's kind of just like, as we said, there's not much to that role in the first one anyway.
At all.
There's not much in the second one either, to be honest. But she is important to the.
She's also married to Jordan Peele, so she's never going to get my vote.
Chelsea Peretti.
Yep.
Is she? I didn't know that.
Fucking Bella in these.
Yeah. We all know how you feel about that, man.
I think you should qualify that pick because she's married to him.
Maybe when
if
you're
only
judge.
argument I have against that pick, because there's nothing to argue.
No, yeah, it's
there's legitimately nothing to argue.
No.
Of course, this is we're getting the crappy picks out of the way, aren't we?
Well, that's kind of the only one, really. Well, there's one other one that I think is crappy, but only because it was so difficult to do.
Okay, well, let's see. Who did we get?
Probably have to be Tully next, is it?
Yeah, Tully, doesn't it?
Tully next, yeah.
Yeah, this is the other one that I feel is the crappy pick. It's so tough to recast this. Like, there isn't a Rick Moranis out there at the moment.
No.
A couple of years ago, I probably would have had a pick, like back when The Office was fresh.
Had to have been Steve Carell.
You would have gone Steve Carell. But Steve Carell's just a little bit too old for that now. So I was kind of bouncing around here. One person that I had in my head was the guy who plays Dustin from Stranger Things, but he's the opposite end of the scale to Carell. He's just he's too young. He's only like 20 or 21 or something. Like, it's too young to be a lawyer and this, that, like, quite. I don't know that he says he's senior, but he's obviously doing well enough for himself. Do you know what I mean? So I batted around a few names. Had Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Michael Cera was there.
That wouldn't have been a bad show, actually. Christopher Mintz-Plasse. I didn't even think of him.
Yeah, the only thing I was thinking was that at the time, Rick Moranis is probably one of the bigger names in this, and I don't know that Christopher Mintz-Plasse has that name value the same way. Michael Cera probably does, but he's a little bit different of an awkward character.
Oh no! Have you seen Michael Cera's latest movie, Family?
No,
it's just not Michael Cera anymore. He's not a funny guy. He's just a fucking mopey arsehole.
Oh, well, I haven't seen him, but I was kind of thinking he could do it. I went for someone who can be a little bit creepy, and he's kind of become a bit of a favorite here. I went with Paul Dano. The kind of I was kind of thinking the weird next door neighbor, just a bit clunky, a bit awkward, and Paul Dano can be that clunky, awkward guy that kind of lives down the just down the hallway, kind of always locking himself out and being like, yeah, come on over, yeah, come on, just say you can come over to my party, and then locking himself out and being like, yeah, I did a 10-minute workout in 2 minutes, I was just like, Paul Dano does have the kind of comedy to do that, and he can be that kind of awkward sort of guy as well.
I like Dano, I do, but I don't like him there though.
Yeah, as I said, I was trying to think name value and kind of being able to be that awkward kind of guy. It's the only name I really had.
So I actually only had one name. I actually had thought when me and Ted were talking, I'd had a couple. Obviously Steve Carell, but he's about 15 years too old. And then I had actually got Dustin from Stranger Things, but he's about 15 years too young.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me, the same day I picked up Janine, I picked up Charlie Day here. For Tully.
That is a good show.
The weirdly, strangely, funnily awkward Charlie Day. The quick talking.
The only thing I'd say there is that Charlie Day is possibly a bit too old.
Really? He's what, 4 years older than?
No, he's nearly 40. Rick Moranis was only 31 doing this.
Well, it doesn't, as it says, age doesn't particularly fully matter in this.
No, it doesn't. But like, if we're saying like, there's what, like, Charlie Day's nearing 50. Carell is just over 60, isn't he? So you're talking kind of a 10-year gap there.
Charlie Day's not 50, is he?
It's 47.
I think he's nearly 50, yeah.
47, and Dana was 39. I was just checking them up there.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's too much to it. Do you know what I mean? It could be any age, especially to be a solicitor anyway.
I think for that particular role, as you've said, Ted, there's no one really like Rick Moranis.
No, there's no Rick Moranis is out there.
So someone, I do think if you did, like, I wouldn't put whole age against anyone on this, because there are kind of older actors that could fill the role. Not obviously not as good, but they could still do a good job. You know, I think he's about picked 2 good picks there actually. You know.
Yeah, I don't. I probably
Who would the lads go?
I probably should have stuck with Christopher Mintz-Plaza, to be honest. Just he's probably closer to it, but just doesn't have the star power I felt of Moranis.
Right, well, let's see who the lads had. Tom had Michael Cera.
Yeah.
And Carl had Paul Walter Hauser.
Yeah, I can see
Stingray. No,
Hauser sort of. I can see where he's going. But I don't know that Paul Walter Hauser. I suppose he does have that bit of like awkwardness to him.
And then me, I went. Again, I know the person's too old, and the only reason I picked him was because I knew I wasn't in the competition tonight, because I do love him so much, and it's someone from the 9-9 again. It's Joe Latruglio. I thought he'd be. He's just too old. He's 51, so obviously he'd be too old. But he still has a boyish, kind of a youngish look to him.
He does. So, he would have been decent there. 10, 15 years ago. Like, he was brilliant there as well.
Oh, perfect, yeah. So look, I'm gonna go with Charlie Day, because he is that little bit more. He can be a little bit more. I don't know, just a little bit more.
It's more the more ad-libbed bit that Moranis done for Ghostbusters is the reason I went with Day.
I don't. If you know what I mean, I think Dano is a little bit too creepy. You know.
Yeah, but Rick Moranis is quite creepy.
But he's not threatening though. I mean, Dano can be threatening, if you know what I mean.
He can be if he wants to be, but he can also be. He's also good at not being threatening.
I think the fact that, and not that it was a deal breaker, but Charlie Day is not that tall either. Like Rick Moranis as well, you know.
I don't think
so.
Dano's not that big either.
Paul Dano's not tall either. He's quite small.
Yeah, well, I do just think that for this one I'd be going with Charlie Day anyway.
I think it kind of once I got him as well, I was like, oh yeah, I'll put the waitress in, because obviously they end up together in 2.
Yeah.
And they're married in real life.
I don't know. I just feel Charlie Day is a bit. I feel he's a bit too old. Like, I think, you're talking, like, you even said yourself, King, you feel that 51 is a bit too old.
But that's because I'm competing. If I wasn't competing, I wouldn't be picking him.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, there's 4 years. Like,
yes.
There's 4.
Let's go.
The pick you make, you say you feel is too old. But someone 4 years younger isn't too old. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you're right. But I'm not going to pick your one just because your one's younger, though. I still think that Charlie Day would be a better fit in that particular role compared to Paul Dano, you know?
Yeah, I think he's too old. I think you're looking at someone who's a bit too old there then.
Anyway, that brings us up to 1 each. And now we're on to who we go with next. Dana?
I would have left Dana probably till third last.
So you're gonna.
I'd say Dana. I'd say Dana just to put the 4 boys at the end.
Yeah, okay,
Winston probably is in the film less and is less integral to the plot, but
he's a Ghostbuster.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we go with Dana then.
Grant. Dana, obviously Sigourney Weaver. As
big name.
Probably the biggest name, is it? Would you say?
Oh, at the time, I'd say, yeah.
Off the back of Alien and Aliens.
Yeah.
Either her or Marie, like.
Well, the fact that Marie, I don't think was cast in the original one, would probably tell me that Sigourney Weaver was the
No,
bigger
but I'm
name.
saying Murray was a big name as well,
Oh
especially
yeah,
in the comedy world. Do you know what I mean? So
I went with so she's awkward but good looking as well, and awkward and funny and strong character. I went with Emma Stone here. And that look tells me that Ted went with Emma Stone too.
He did.
I did. Originally, I had Jennifer Lawrence, who I think would be quite good there.
Ooh, that would have been a good show. I
The
don't like
issue
J-Lo,
is-
but
The issue is King hates Jennifer Lawrence, and I know I would have lost the pick no matter what if I put her there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know she's created women acting and all that, but like, there's no
she's
way
the
she'd
first
be.
female action star. Don't forget
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you're replacing fucking
The
Sigourney
first
Weaver.
female action star.
So I'm glad you picked Emma Stone. Put it that
Yeah,
way.
no,
Would you say would Weaver be probably the first big female action star?
she'd be up there, all right.
Sigourney. Yeah.
Yeah, she'd be up there. I don't know if she was the very first, but I wouldn't say she was a big action star in Alien. In Aliens,
No, but
yes.
Aliens had come out by this stage.
I know, I know that. Yeah, I'm just saying. But I
Oh
like,
yeah,
she was
yeah,
there from the
absolutely not for
beginning.
Alien, but for Aliens.
Whereas Jennifer Lawrence, I think, like Jennifer Lawrence has kind of gone into the comedy role and stuff now, which is why I was originally thinking her. I was like, she has to be willing to kind of get into that comedy role because this is a bit comedy. But I knew she wouldn't win, so Emma Stone is the easiest choice there, I think.
Right, so
That
you drew on that one anyway.
Yeah, who did the lads have?
Let's see. Dana. Tom had Elizabeth Olsen,
okay, I could see that. Yeah.
and Signo had Aubrey Plaza.
I don't. I can see Elizabeth Olsen there. I don't like.
I can't see Plaza.
No.
And then
What you got, King?
I had Alexandra Daddario. That's what we had there.
Oh, I was banking on you having Margot.
No. She's too sexy.
ADD, probably not. She's kind of stepped away from acting a bit now, hasn't she?
Yeah.
The Dario.
I guess her at the moment, but sure, that could change.
She's married to some really ridiculously rich.
She's rich enough herself,
fella.
anyway.
Right, so that brings it to 2-all.
Yeah.
Ooh, 2 each. Happy days. Right, well then let's go with Winston. Winston Zedmore.
Yeah. So again, kind of a tough one here because he's kind of the least involved in this. Becomes a bit bigger in 2, but in this he's kind of the rookie that comes into them. Kind of bounced a few names around here. Had Donald Glover there. I think he's maybe a little bit too big a name. Kenan Thompson was there. Might be a bit too big a name and a bit too funny. Winston's a bit of a straight shooter when they get him in here. So I went with Brian Tyree Henry, who I think I've used once or twice before. Not afraid to do a bit of comedy when needed, but can also play a bit of a straight man as well when needed, which I think he'd fit in here.
Okay.
Champ?
That was my backup.
Tyree?
Yeah. And your backup was my pick. I went with Donald Glover here.
Yeah, I feel Donald Glover is just a little bit too big a name. Not just in acting either, like just as a star, I think he's too big for this very minor role. Like,
I mean, Brian Tyree Henry's Oscar nominated and everything, so he's not a small name either.
No, he's not. I'm not saying that. Like, I still went with relatively big names. I just don't know that Donald Glover's taken that. Is kind of what I was saying.
We'll see what the lads have, yeah.
Yeah.
So Tom had John Boyega.
That's not a bad
Okay.
choice.
Yeah.
Might be a bit too muscular though.
You'd be wearing a big.
I suppose the boiler suits cover it over, don't they?
They do, yeah. But
where did I put this? Is it Devon Cole or Dion Cole? Sorry, can't even read me on writing. What the fuck?
Dion, I think.
Dion Cole.
Yeah, Dion Cole. Yeah.
Right.
Can't say I know him from much.
Yeah. He's a good actor.
And I myself also had John Boyega.
Yeah,
Oh.
John Boyega's not a bad show.
Yeah.
It's one that crossed my mind, and I was just like, is he going to take it away from Donald Glover? I was like, I don't know.
What
I
put
just
me off John Boyega, and it's not a huge deal, but it's was that he's he's British. So it's kind of like, does that, like, I can't remember, does he do a great American accent? He mustn't be bad at it, like, because I've never recognized it as a British accent, I guess. So
I think he just kind of just there, isn't he?
I think he just has a generic accent. It's not British,
like
and it's not American
like
either.
a
Do you know what I
neutral
mean?
type accent.
Yeah, he just has a very neutral accent. Yeah.
That's a good thing to
But
have. As
he's just there.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just when I was thinking of him, I was like, oh, he is British, though. That might put a scupper. Like,
Right, lads, I'm gonna go with Brian Tyree Henry. I think Glover would be a bit too big for that one.
yeah,
compared
that's
to the Oscar-nominated actor.
No, but like I think he would turn it down quicker than Brian would. You know.
No, nobody in their right mind. Well, I suppose the movie hasn't been made yet, so I was going to say no one would turn down Ghostbusters
Well,
yeah.
Well,
unless
that's
it's
who
the
I'm
female
going.
one.
Yeah, just don't even go there. Don't even mention that.
That definitely doesn't exist.
No, not in our world.
No.
Ted, you take a 3-2 lead.
3-2, yeah.
Now it gets interesting.
Yeah, these are the
Championship
tough ones.
rounds.
Yeah. Do you want to go with Ray or Egon?
I'd imagine it'd have to be Ray, wouldn't it?
I would say so.
Okay, it doesn't really matter here. I think
Much
they're
of a
all
muchness.
I think Venkman goes last as he's the lead.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. After that, the two boys could kind of either one.
But go with Ray. Go with Ray. There we go.
Ray Stantz.
Yeah.
Jesus, it was tough. He's kind of rash and abrasive in this, really. He's the one that kind of cuts everything down, kind of interrupts people all the time.
Yeah, more awkwardly than brashly, though.
I always found him to be real brash and obnoxiously cutting into people's thing.
I always felt he was more awkward doing it. Like, he was just kind of like, oh, I need to tell them because Venkman's shiting on about some nonsense here that he doesn't understand. And he's like, let me just cut across you there, Venkman, because you're talking shy here. And he's just like, let me just get the actual answer in here, will you?
I went with the man who's instantly famous for doing. I went with Seth Rogen here.
Yeah.
Kind of just brash in there. But to be honest, I never really thought how good of an actor he was until I seen Pam and Tommy.
He's brilliant in that.
I haven't seen Pam and Tommy. I know you've mentioned it a few times.
Watching them in that, I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, this cunt can act. But I think he'd fit in there as.
I've only ever seen him as a comedy guy, so I don't know. I can't judge his ability to be a kind of. Although Stantz is like funny, there's a bit more of a straight shooter here and a naivety to him. But I can't judge if Seth Rogen can do that because I haven't seen Pam and Tommy.
Oh, that's what he does in Pam and Tommy. He's just a blue collar worker that's finds himself a tape that made him millions.
Right. Yeah. No, I always see, like, as I said, I always seen Stantz as a bit kind of clunky, like very intelligent, but like kind of interrupts awkwardly more than anything, and then not streetwise in the sense that, like when they're buying the building. And Venkman and Spengler are like, these are the things that are wrong with it. And he's like, this is great. How much? And you're like, oh, God, if you just stayed out of this, we could have saved so much money. Like, just a bit kind of, a bit like simple. And I'm glad I didn't go with this person because he's already been used now by Charlie Day here as a backup. I think Charlie Day could have done that quite well. And I'm glad I didn't go with that. Because Charlie Day is a bit like ditzy and stuff, not streetwise. But I went with someone who I think I've used before in Haley Joel Osment.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think he's very good there. I think he's good at kind of being the second sort of in command because Spengler is like the super intelligent one, but he's never in the lead. Whereas Haley Joel Osment is kind of to the side, but like a bit clunky, a bit awkward, but you could believe he's like, he could play an intelligent character as well. And he's kind of just bullied by bullied by Spengler over being smart, and bullied by Venkman because Venkman's got the charisma to step forward and control the group. Like, I think that's the sort of character that I've always seen Stance as. So I went with someone who's like that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that's probably one of the most hated picks I've heard on this show.
No, I think
and that's not me. That's not me trying to win this point. That's just.
See, I guess it's just how you view Stance completely differently. You think he's brash and obnoxious. I don't. I never thought he was brash and obnoxious. I always thought he was a bit of a pushover.
Okay, so Tom had Jonathan Groff from Mindhunter.
I think he used him before, didn't he?
Oh, I do know him from Mindhunter, actually. Yeah, I do know who he's talking about.
Yeah. Carl had, who we got for Ray, wasn't
it?
Yeah.
Donald Glover.
No.
It's a big no from all of us there.
Yeah, no, I don't like Donald Glover there at all now.
And then I had Will Poulter.
No. If I was going Poulter, I probably would have went Spengler.
No, he's not Spengler either. Poulter's a bit of a weird one.
I think the way Poulter plays the kind of stand-up awkward role would more Spengler than Stance.
Maybe, but would you buy him as like the super intelligent kind of, and that's why he's so awkward?
Oh,
guy?
Sorry, no, I'm mixing Poulter up here. I'm mixing Poulter up with Nicholas Hoult.
I think that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't.
Sorry, no.
I don't know that I buy Poulter as Spengler either.
No.
He'd probably be closer to Venkman than Spengler, I would have said.
Hoult, yeah. Right, lads. I'm gonna go with Seth Rogen on that one.
Yeah, I guess it comes to how you view him. Like, I always thought of him as a pushover. Like, they make him sell his parents' house and everything so that they can set up this business. He's just pushed over by the lads really easily.
If you'd seen Pam and Tommy, that's exactly what his ex-wife does to him in that.
Yeah, again, haven't seen Pam and Tommy, so like I can only judge Seth Rogen off the things I've seen Seth Rogen in.
Sausage Party and all that.
Pam and Tommy are better Pam and Tommies than
Pam and Tommy.
Real Pam and Tommy.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Seth Rogen to me is always just like, I've only ever seen him as, Seth Rogen, the comedian.
As I said, so had I up until I seen that.
Yeah, so like,
because when I heard he was casting, I was like, what? He's
on?
Obviously just a comedian or something in this, not the main fucking role. He was brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. That brings it back up. 3 apiece.
Yeah.
Neck and neck. This is a good match. We're gonna go with. We're gonna go with Egon now.
Yeah, this one I could be in trouble with because I bounced around a few names on this. So, I don't know if you've seen Community King, so that kind of put me out there on that. I had Daniel Pudi, who.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not a huge name outside of that, really. So I was kind of like, if you don't know him from Community, I don't know him from enough other things to know if he fits that role there. Then I was bouncing around a couple of other names. I was kind of thinking comedy. If I was going super comedy, I'd go Jason Biggs, but Spengler isn't funny in that way.
No.
You know what I mean? He's just super intelligent. So then I was thinking Benedict Cumberbatch, quite intelligent, so self-absorbed and in his work. I was thinking of him as like Doctor Strange and Sherlock and things like that, very self-absorbed and just in his work. Doesn't really care what's going on around him. Like, Spengler does not grasp at all that Janine is constantly flirting with him. Do you know what I mean? Then Jim Parsons, who obviously was playing Sheldon, but Jim Parsons is a bit older than that now.
Yeah.
Spengler was 40, to be fair, so it's not like Spengler was that young. But I went with somebody who plays that sort of intelligent, awkward, doesn't really understand what's going on around him guy. I went with Richard Ayoade.
From the IT crowd, is it?
Yeah, from the IT crowd. Yeah, anything I've seen him in a few things, and anything I've ever seen him in, that's who he is. Like, and that includes on like panel shows and stuff. That's exactly who he is the entire time. So I think he could fit into that quite well, and obviously he has no issue with making himself a bit of a butt of the joke as well.
Good show.
I don't know him enough. I would have just said probably name value is probably not big enough to get into the what should have been the main role.
Possibly, yeah.
As I said, I don't know him enough. I haven't seen the IT Crowd, so that would be my argument. I don't know if he's funny. I don't know anything about him really.
He's funny in the I'm smart and I don't understand what everyone else doesn't understand about like these really theoretical problems sort of things. Like that's what his whole gimmick is.
Right. I went with a big name here. I went with someone who makes himself awkward in movies. He played the awkward role alongside Bill Murray in one. He plays an extremely smart scientist in another one, which was terrible, in 65. I went with Adam Driver here. I think he fits that role absolutely perfectly. The only thing he doesn't have is the height.
When did he play a smart scientist?
65.
I didn't watch 65 because I heard it was so bad.
The acting in it wasn't bad. The dinosaurs were terrible.
Right. I just heard it wasn't great, so I was like, I don't
know. The little kid in it absolutely steals the show. I suppose it's very hard to act alongside one other person in the whole film.
Listen, Colin Farrell acted in a phone booth. All right, like that's all I'm saying, and he was brilliant.
He's brilliant.
But again, you're gonna need some name power, and Harold Ramis was a name power in this. He also co-wrote it, I think.
Him and Dan Aykroyd.
Not that matters because the movie's going to be wrote for them, but I don't know your man Richard Ayoade's going to be the co-main of a movie, really, to be honest with you.
Possibly not. No, I was kind of taking it that, like, I don't know, I never felt that, like, Harold Ramis was a big name, but I'm not sure how big a name he was back then either, do you know what I mean? I think of Ghostbusters.
I think he was a big enough name.
I think he was relatively big, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't
over the stateside, maybe, but maybe not
possibly,
over here.
But I wouldn't have said he was bigger than
Murray,
than
or even Aykroyd. To be honest with you,
Sigourney Weaver.
I think this is one of Aykroyd's first big ones.
I wouldn't even have said he was bigger than.
He was.
I could be wrong, but
Ramis was writing for National Lampoons and everything at this stage.
No, I think he was a big name as a writer. I don't know that he was a big name as an actor. That's what I'm saying. I think he was a very big writing name. I don't know if he was a big acting name.
Second City TV, one of the best sitcoms ever made. No idea, never heard of it. He was in Stripes, Heavy Metal. I'd say he was a big enough name. National Lampoon's Vacation.
Possibly, yeah. Things he'd kind of written. Like I would have said that Moranis was a bigger name.
No, they're all the stuff he acted in.
Did he not write a lot of them though as well?
I don't know.
He wrote for National Lampoons, but as I'm saying, I think Moranis is a bigger name. I think Sigourney Weaver was a bigger name. I think Murray was a bigger name. I would have thought Aykroyd was a bigger name myself. So I didn't. I
think he certainly went on to be. I don't know if he was at this stage, but
yeah. So that's why
I don't know much about you, man.
That's why I didn't rely on this one being too big a name. I relied on the characteristics of him and Richard Ayoade. I like when I had him. I was like, "There's nobody else that can."
In all honesty, it's an English TV show, and his no name value in the States really.
I think Richard Ayoade does have some name value in the States.
Oh, he was the voice. He was the voice in Soul. One of the voices in Soul that I can see here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but I wouldn't say he has anywhere near name value.
He might not be
to
huge,
command,
but I wouldn't have said that this role was the big name value role anyway. So I just went with someone who fits into the role.
Right. Well, sure. Look, we'll see what the boys had.
Can I guess? Sherlock has Sierra.
Michael Cera?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. I'll actually go with that first. Bo Burnham. Bo Burnham,
yeah. I know who that is. Don't know that. Bo Burnham, I've never seen him in anything that he acts in.
He's a comedian, isn't he?
He's a comedian, but he has acted in stuff, but I've never watched any of his stuff he's acted in, but he is a comedian. Yeah, I don't know if he comes across as super intelligent though.
Tom had Adam Driver.
See,
Nice.
I don't think Adam Driver, like, I never think of Adam Driver as like super intelligent. Maybe it's because I haven't seen 65. I think of him more kind of along the action line.
I have no idea who this lad is. Absolutely none.
I know him as a comedian. That's the only thing I know him from. Yeah, I know him as a comedian, but I don't.
That's all I know him as. Yeah.
Normally I know comedians from the look of them. I have no idea who this lad is.
Well, I just want to know who I had.
Who do you have? I'm guessing you have Driver as well, do you?
I do.
I don't.
I'll be honest with you, Ted. I'll be honest with you. I do think Adu Abi is a brilliant pick.
I do not see Driver as playing a super intelligent character. The only time I've ever seen Adam Driver in anything, he's like kind of the action guy. He's meant to be smart as Kylo Ren. Doesn't come across as that smart as.
The one where he's with Bill Murray is. I know he's a bit.
Dead Don't Die.
Dead Don't Die. Not really intelligent in that. More awkward. So I can see where you're coming from with the awkward bit, but I don't see him as the super genius of the entire.
You haven't seen 65 either, though. So that's what I went off.
I don't know if King has seen 65 either.
No, but I do.
When I said I hadn't seen him, so I don't know. Like I don't know where you're getting this. Like he's the super genius of the group from Star Wars or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't actually like him in Star Wars, to be honest. I liked him behind the mask.
I didn't mind him in Star Wars, but I just don't see where this is meant to be your like super geek.
Yeah, I mean? As I said, I've seen him do it. I mightn't like the movie, but I've seen him do it. That's where I got it from.
See, I don't know. I haven't seen 65, but I've never seen him as like a super. Like here's the super nerd. Like when here's the introduction of a character. Here's Adam Driver. Does he look super nerdy? Here's the
fun of this game, lads, is that we can see possibly someone like and that's because the film hasn't been made yet in our world, technically. Yeah. So,
but like Spengler still needs the character is still written as the super intelligent one, coming up with all the gadgets, how to catch them. All of that is Spengler's mind. Like all of that is his mind.
I definitely could see him doing it. Sitting there designing stuff. Like you see him, again, I go back to 65. He designs his way out of the problem.
Possibly, again, I've never seen him as anything. The only things I've ever seen him in, it's all kind of action based, or like he's a bit ditzy, but still kind of action based. I've never seen him be like, oh, here's this super intelligent, here's the complete nerd who's so unaware of like everyone else's, like of social cues and everything like that.
I think he's a good actor. I think he has a good range.
He was like that in J. Edgar when he worked in The Office.
In what?
He was in J. Edgar, the J. Edgar Hoover story, the FBI guy.
Didn't see it.
You didn't see J. Edgar?
No.
That was one of the best movies of the year, man, when it came out.
Didn't see it. Like as I said, I don't see him doing that. He is a good actor, but again, like using the argument of, but they're a good actor, they could do it. Like sure, you could say that for nearly any actor. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't use that argument.
No, but I'm just saying that as an argument can be used anywhere. Whereas that's what I'm saying. Like
onto the Venk.
I can't see I cannot see Driver being that character at all.
All right. Anyway, Venkman, final one. It's 4-3 to Greg.
You know what that means?
Yeah. I knew Richard Ayoade would be a risk because it depended on if people had seen him. But
as it says, I haven't seen him, so I couldn't even really. All I could argue is the name power.
Yeah,
I know when we were. I know when we were in Manchester, he told me to watch it, and what I might do is tonight. Now, when we finish recording, I might throw on an episode to see.
Of the IT crowd is brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, he's exactly Venkman. Like basically, he is Sheldon Cooper, but working in IT. Like.
Right. So, Venkman. Bill Murray. Some people say it's his best role. I don't think so.
He's got so many different amazing roles, in fairness.
Absolutely top drawer. I think it's because of the name of the movie, really. For me, his best role, maybe Caddyshack as the caddy or as the groundskeeper, just for the crack, just to piss people off. The man also has the best cameo in film history.
Space Jam.
Zombieland.
He wasn't a cameo in Space Jam. He's in it more than once.
Yeah, he's
In
still
Zombieland, yeah.
he's Bill Murray in Space Jam. But that's who he is. He's just Bill Murray. How'd you get here?
Yeah.
The Teamsters. He's brilliant.
Yeah, I went with. I kind of batted around a good few here. And you know what? I went because I picked Emma Stone. I went with Andrew Garfield. And I hemmed and hawed with it, and I was like, no, do you know what? I'll stick it out. I think he can play the arrogance. He can play the awkward, but he can be very full of himself. Yeah. I was kind of hoping it didn't come down to that pick.
Yeah, I batted a few names around here. One I had was Vince Vaughn, but a little too old now.
10 years
Perfect.
ago.
10 years ago, yeah.
That was my big issue. Vince Vaughn, but a couple of years ago. Another one I had was Bill Hader, but I think he's kind of stepped away from roles like this a little bit now. He's trying to get a bit more serious, isn't he?
No. He's gone back into
is he
doing dark comedies, yeah.
Oh, is he? I thought he'd kind of stepped away from it for a little bit, so I was like, I don't know if he'd take it.
I think his role in It Part 2 kind of spurred him back into.
Yeah, possibly. I kind of felt he'd stepped away a little bit. But I went similar thought process to you, Greg. I went with someone who's worked with Emma Stone before, who has played so many different roles now that he's become a very versatile actor. I went
Is
with
it Mike
Jonah Hill.
Sarah?
No, I went with Jonah Hill.
Oh, you went with the other one.
Yeah, I went with Jonah Hill here. I think Jonah Hill can exude that confidence and that self-belief, but is also like, I don't really want to do the work, and I'm just a bit of a horn dog. You know what I mean? I think he's played enough roles like that. Like,
so it's him in Superbad just 20 years later.
Him in Superbad, but then also him, like when you think of Wolf of Wall Street, like it's a very similar role.
That's his best role.
But it's a very similar role. He's not the lead, but it's a very similar ideology. You know, do as little work as possible, make sure everyone loves me, and I'm a bit of a hound. Like, I think he fits into that very well. Like,
his first scene in Wolf of Wall Street is brilliant. How much money did you make last week? 70 grand. You show me a pay stub with 70 grand, I'm gonna quit my job right now.
Yeah. See, I think he fits in there quite well. He's got the kind of comedic timing. He's definitely got the name value now. And he's become very versatile as an actor that I think he fits into it.
I think that's a far better pick than mine, to be honest.
That's a good show.
Garfield's a bit too awkward, isn't he?
The only thing I can think of is, would you cast Rogan and Hill in the same movie?
I wouldn't have cast Rogan at all, so.
Well, he's cast now.
Yeah, but we have said that we don't use one pick against another in the future. Although both of us did use the fact that they've worked with Emma Stone before. Also, just before we go anywhere, I'd kind of forgotten about this because they allude to it massively in the newest Ghostbusters. Lewis does sleep with Dana by the end of this. We don't see it on screen, but that's exactly when you take the new Ghostbusters on how they summon Gozer.
Oh, they have to sleep, don't they? Have to procreate,
sleep together,
yeah.
And she was definitely going to sleep with Bill Murray when she thought he was the key master. And then when they're up on the top of the thing, his belt and all is open. When I rewatched it.
Oh yeah, no, it's a straight up thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they don't really allude to it too much in this one, but Rick Moranis knew what he was doing. That's all I'm saying.
Do you know what? 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, if you were going Tully, I might have even considered Jack Black.
Nah, he's a different type of funny, I think.
No, but back then when he's done the likes of Shallow Hal and stuff.
Too self-confident though. Even in Shallow Hal, he's super confident in himself. That's the whole problem. That's why he gets that spell cast on him.
It's a genius movie, that.
Yeah.
Right, so Tom had Bradley Cooper.
Bit old.
Too old, but the right kind of guy.
I can see what he's thinking there. He's thinking The Hangover.
Yeah. Carl had Bill Burr.
No, I know he's big now at the minute with old dads and stuff, but not for me.
No,
Definitely too old, isn't he?
I don't think so. I think he's only in his 40s.
Bill Burr not like 50 something now, or has he just been around forever?
He looks like he's been around forever.
Bill Burr's 55. Yeah.
Bit old.
I knew he was in his 50s. I was like, he's been around forever, but only got big recently. But he's always been around. Like,
He was a good stand-up comedian as well.
Yeah.
yeah, very good. Yeah.
I had Aaron Taylor Johnson, is it?
Oh no,
From
too big,
Recast.
too ripped.
Yeah, he's a bit too buff now.
Have you seen him for Craven King? No.
Not yet. No.
Nice.
Just Google it there before you make your pick, right? And see how far wrong you were when you see him in Craven.
He's pretty buff now, all right, yeah. Although again, I suppose like you could make the argument that he's going to be in the boiler suit, but
that's what I was thinking.
This thing's he's too big.
Buy a bigger boiler suit.
Jesus Christ!
Just buy a bigger boiler suit, man.
He done a Zac Efron on it.
Jesus, yeah. Looking at him,
he's in some shape, isn't he?
Big time. Fair play to him.
Mm.
All right.
I'm in some shape. Round.
Yeah, we're all in some shape. Just not necessarily a good one.
I'm gonna go with Jonah Hill on that one. I like Jonah Hill. I think he's very versatile.
It's a better pick than mine.
When I had Jonah Hill, like I had Vince Vaughn, and I really liked it.
If you had been able to pick him, he would have won.
But then I was like, Vince Vaughn is just a little bit too old.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, who's the closest to that? Bill Hader was one. And then when I got Jonah Hill, I was like, actually, that's perfect. Like, there's nobody else I need to cast there.
Yeah. And the sweetest words in the English language come up again. Default.
Well, there we go.
The record has been either tied or just broken, folks. I'd have to go back and count.
And he hasn't beaten me since he won the
title.
I
don't have to beat you.
He can't
I don't have to beat you.
He can't get past. He can get past me, but only by
these
advantages. Yeah.
As it says, Ric Flair said it. I'll say it. To beat a man, you got to beat the man.
You know, the man can't beat me. The man can't beat me.
You're the challenger. You've got to beat me, pal.
Yeah, you can't beat me either. That's what I'm saying. You know, like
I don't need to beat you.
Yeah, you think Pride would want you to be able to win the match, but you know, maybe not.
Right. Well, so anyway, what's the next? What are we going to go with, Ted?
So what are we doing now? So it's yourself and Greg, and then we're going to have Sherlock come in as the judge. So I'm going to stick with Bill Murray.
Space Jam. Let's go.
Zombieland.
I would love to do Space Jam, but the problem with Space Jam is it's all voiceover work. And there's no way you'll ever be able to cast it. One, the cast is huge. Because if you had to like cast the animated characters, there's way too many of them.
Was Looney Tunes not all done by like 4 different people?
Yeah, but if you're doing a live action one, then
I know.
They have to all be different people. So that'd be a massive one to do.
What's that? That's a fatal 4-way for the crack.
Also, Danny DeVito is just going to reprise his role.
Facts.
Like, there's no way he's not going to just be the same person. And Bill Murray has to be Bill Murray, and Michael Jordan has to be Michael Jordan. So you've already lost 3 of your picks. No, we'll stick with Murray, and we'll go for something. It might be a bit repetitive to do Murray again, but that's the premise of the film I'm going to give.
We've done that. Oh no. I was about to stop you there going, we've done that before. We've used an actor once or twice in a row.
We have.
But if you've just said it's repetitive, there's only one movie it can be.
Yeah, it's going to be Groundhog Day. So it's a tough one to do. It's going to be similar to this, but it's a very different, or at least I would think, going to be a very different Bill Murray cast.
Yeah.
I guess you could argue that you know, there is going to be an argument that you could use the same people, but I think it leaves yourself open to be a very different Bill Murray.
I think you don't cast Jonah Hill in this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't cast Jonah Hill if I was.
Yeah, it's a different type of, as you say,
exactly.
It's a different type of Bill Murray.
So it's a different Bill Murray that you need to cast here. So, and then obviously all the other characters are not going to be too easy. But that's what you have.
Thanks for that, Ted.
Look forward to Groundhog Day. a bit of repetitiveness, since that's what keeps it's, you know, every time I've come up against Greg, it's just repeating. That's what you're gonna have to deal with now.
Well, look,
do you know what I'm going to repeat? I win. Believe that.
well, it'll be good for the people's
Well,
champion
you
to
don't
get
win,
back
you just
into the
don't
ring.
lose.
That's what all
Do
I
I
gotta say.
carry on with the championship reign?
Yeah, but it's not winning.
I win.
No, it's not winning. It's just
It's
not
like
losing.
winning on the away goals, Ted.
No, because
I go through.
it's just not losing. It's just not losing. Oh, I've managed just to not lose again. That's it. Like,
Just
you know,
just means nothing.
We'll get him next time, Ted. Don't
Goes
worry.
on.
but yeah, I'll leave you to start your lists on that. Get that rewatched and start your lists on it. Don't forget to like, share, follow, all that good stuff here, and the lads over on the slab, where they're continuing to do interviews with people from films, TV shows, all things horror. They're continuing to review films. They just last week, I believe, put out their top films of 2023.
Year in review.
Yeah, the year in review. Obviously, not everyone has watched every horror film. You know, as much films as we try to watch.
I did try.
He gives it a good shot.
He does, but as much as we try to watch every film, we also have to watch films for this. And then, you know, sometimes you want to watch the new films that are coming out, things like Oppenheimer, that, you know, do take a lot of time to watch. So there's a few differences on the lists, but you know, might give people an idea of something to watch if they didn't watch it this year. You know, we'll give our review on it. So don't forget to follow the boys over there. And until next week, look.
Peace.